My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramer. My friends, I'm just trying to make you a little money. My job is not just to entertain, but to educate and teach you. So call me 1-800-743-CNBC. Tweet me at Jim Cramer. The bulls are roaming freely. And with the exception of the drug stocks, they cannot seem to be stopped. Look, that's my read on today's action. Another sensational day where the Dow gained 335 points, S&P jumped 1%, and the NASDAQ, whoa, more pole vaulting, up 1.5%. This market is not enduring the waning days of the Biden administration. It's experiencing the hopes of investors in the next administration, the one that begins next week with the inauguration of a much more pro-business president. We have no idea whether the next administration will live up to the lofty levels that the average has now gotten. Will Trump be pro-tech? Will he embrace mergers? Will a rising tide lift all boats? Honestly, it's going to be tough. Generally, businesses want to be able to do what they want when they want to while not paying a lot of tax. Is that unreasonable? Depends. Very unreasonable if you think big business is inherently nefarious and all these companies are run by greedy oligarchs. But if you believe in free market capitalism, letting businesses do what they want within certain limits, well, that is the name of the game. We won't have to wait long for Monday's inauguration because Trump intends to unleash a huge swath of deregulation. Boom. Okay, rolling back Biden's executive decisions, boy, there are a ton of those, while closing our borders and starting to deport who knows how many undocumented immigrants. Of course, many of these changes may not be allowed. Some will be acted on immediately. Some will never get kicked up to the Supreme Court. But it sure seems like Trump plans to come in hot to advance the prospects of business. That's the only thing that can justify this market's recent rally. Now, my interactions with soon-to-be President Trump tended to revolve around the stock market, which he thinks of as the true barometer of his job performance. It's funny because Biden never cared about the stock market, even though stocks did great during his administration. He wanted to be a class warrior, seeing himself as the labor president. Trump was most certainly, he doesn't want that. He wants to be the capital president. I don't expect anything different this time around. So we'll have plenty of executive decisions to parse on Tuesday. Wonder if the new president will try to solve the conundrum of TikTok, where Congress has spoken and the shutdown of the Chinese-sponsored app is now very much assured. The president-elect wants to see if he can get a deal going here, but he respects the Supreme Court, as he says he does. I don't see how anything can be worked out without an outright sale. I'm going to give you more on that later in the show, but that seems to be a given. At the same time, Trump intends to roll back regulation, especially anti-fossil fuel expansion, while rounding up undocumented immigrants to somewhere. And now he has to find a way to make 170 million TikTok users as happy as possible, while blocking the People's Republic of China from getting all their data and using the site to brainwash young people. Tall orders. Well, how about Tuesday? Tuesday continues with the regular reporting season, and we got some pretty compelling companies that I expect to talk about a brighter future, even if it's also somewhat uncertain, both politically and economically. 3M reports in the morning, and I bet that CEO Bill Brown, he's a total hitter. I think he delivers an awesome quarter. Speaking of awesome quarters, we should get a first-class blowout from United Airlines, which is riding this incredible wave of airline profitability. When United reports after the bell, I think shareholders will be rewarded with a huge beat, as the company's benefiting from a lack of planes and a lack of competition that allowed ticket prices to go ever higher, as you know. Not so good for consumers or the consumer price index, but tremendous for shareholders. United, one of the best performers in the S&P 500 last year, was at $38 back in August. Today it closed at $107. Wednesday, we got some real firecrackers. The data center business is red hot, and in order to fuel these warehouses full of servers and pay, send the air conditioning in and all sorts of electricity, well, what do you got to do? You need more power plants. That means they're likely to place orders with nat gas turbine maker GE Vernova. That's another one of last year's best performers. I don't think it's done. Oil service kingpin SLB, the old Schlumberger, reported today, and it was smashing. Now, the pin action from that allowed competitor Halliburton to rally 2.2%. But the good numbers from SLB were largely from overseas, so the domestically oriented Halliburton won't be able to put up that kind of surprise. The reason to buy Hal is because soon-to-be President Trump seems to want to drill everywhere but playgrounds, although it's too early to rule those out, too. We also get results from two household names, Procter & Gamble and Johnson & Johnson. I think Procter might struggle with a strong dollar in China, while J&J still has to deal with the talc asbestos lawsuits and the recent acquisition of Interest Cellular for $14 billion, which could threaten its pristine credit rating. The market has turned against these kinds of stocks viciously, too slow growing. I think you can put either way, though, and make good money just by reinvesting their juicy dividends. It doesn't help that all pharma's under the microscope, as President Biden rushed out a series of drugs that Medicare will try to get better prices for. This is the one part of the Inflation Reduction Act that actually reduces inflation at the expense of the drug companies. One of the most popular medicines, for instance, of the year, Wegovy, that's the weight loss drug from Novo Nordisk, will get a ton of scrutiny as the White House put it on the list. Eli Lilly has a similar drug. Now people are worried that that same thing will happen to them when it comes up for regulation. So that stock got hammered. Again, it wasn't unexpected, but it stung anyway, especially because there were so many stocks screaming higher. Thursday, we have another GE coming in, GE Aerospace this time. And I got to tell you something, I think we have a winner, but it's not as clean as I'd like, because last time there was some hair on the quarter. Supply chain issues causing an 8% hit to the stock. Now, if they get it right this time, I think that you'll recoup that loss in the same day. Please mark your calendars. Jeff Marks and I will be hosting a monthly meeting of the CNBC Investing Club on Thursday, which people just always tell me are so much fun. We're going to be going over the portfolio, making some very specific recommendations. It's a new meeting. I think it's worth signing up for. You can, just free trial the darn thing. Finally, on Friday, chronic underperformer Verizon gets a chance to chronically underperform again. Now, I know a lot of traders think that this 7% yield can act like a trampoline. While I don't like the risk, I kind of like the risk reward. I don't have much faith in Verizon. How about that? Also on Friday, we hear from American Express. It seems like every time Amex reports, it gets hit on that day. And what do? I come on here and tell you to buy it. After its juggernaut run these last few years, you'd think that when CEO Steve Squeri talks, people would want to buy, not sell. I say, so what? We'll catch it when the fools say goodbye. Here's the bottom line. As we wrap up the Biden administration, even though I've been very critical of his approach to business, stocks have done well. The Dow's up 41%. The S&P's up 58%. And the NASDAQ roared 49%. Any other president would be proud of that track record. The fact that Biden seems to not be, maybe it says pretty much everything. Hey, why don't we go to Mohammed in Arkansas? Mohammed.
Yeah, hi, Jimbo. God
What's
bless you,
shaking?
Jimbo, for
What's
all
happening?
your help on the stock market. I've
You're
been
quite
watching the
welcome.
show for over 15 years.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah. My stock today is AbbVie, that makes Skyrizi, Rinvoq, Ryler, and, of course, Humira.
I got to tell you, I think you got the cheap one there, Mohammed. Here's the problem. People hate these companies. So what you have to do is you have to buy. You can buy it, but you have to be patient because the drug companies are in the doghouse. And that one is, too. It does yield almost 4%. Why don't you wait till it goes over 4%? I feel like going right now to Tom in Washington, D.C. Tom.
Thanks, Jim, for all you do. You've made a huge difference in my financial life.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Hey, wondering what you think of Sempra, S-R-E.
I think Sempra is such a buy. I don't even care that it only yields 3%. I think that, you know, like, this is Jeff Martin. He is bankable, bankable, bankable. I want you to own the stock. Let's go to TC in New Hampshire. TC.
Hey, Jim. Thanks so much for taking my call and your insights
welcome.
every day.
Thank you.
Learning every day from you.
All right.
I want to understand your view on the business for Oracle and buy, sell, or hold at this
Okay, I screwed up on Oracle. I sold it, and then it moved up. I don't feel like I'm as good on it as I should be, that others are better. I look at it 26 times earnings, and the last quarter was just okay. But, you know, sometimes you have to say to yourself, I'm not the call. I'm not the call. Now, on the last trading day of the Biden administration, it's worth noting that stocks performed really darn well during his tenure. The fact that he doesn't seem proud of it, I don't know. Maybe it says everything, at least to me. On Mad Money tonight, earnings season's in full swing with the big banks crossing the tape this week. I'm looking at the reports for some of the major names and highlighting a few standout statistics. Plus, I had this chance to check out what this private healthcare player called Included Health during my time in San Francisco. So I'm bringing you the fascinating conversation. Really pretty cool. And the Supreme Court calling midnight on TikTok saying a ban could go forward. I'll reveal what it means for social media stocks. So stay with Cramer.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on X. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadMentions. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.